So hey, this is Larry Yeager, Yeager Cycle, and I thought maybe I'd talk a little bit about proper braking techniques on street bikes. Um, I went to a skills event over the weekend, and those are not just for competition; they're actually training. So it's skills/training events, and always hopefully come away with something. Become a better rider is what the point of that is. And I did learn something from a couple of the elite riders there in braking technique that I had not used myself. And so, we'll talk about the front brake first. And of course, the front brake has its own individual lever here that works the front brake calipers on the front wheel by themselves. And I've always been one that basically leave my hand on the handlebar, on the throttle grip, and I use one finger that I cover the front brake lever with and pull the front brake lever. And that's how I've always done it. I basically ride most of the time with one finger on the brake lever, and when I'm ready to brake, I use one finger. And that's fine. That's not a real problem. The only thing that I would say with that is what I learned this weekend is when you use all four fingers, you have much more braking power, much more squeezing power. So when you can squeeze that lever harder, you can apply, your stopping distance is going to reduce pretty dramatically. And it does a couple things. So sometimes when you do a single brake lever pull with single lever, you kind of have a tendency of rolling the throttle on at the same time, because you kind of pull the lever in, and when you got to really pull it hard, sometimes you kind of pull the throttle down at the same time. Well, that's going to work against you because it's still accelerating, okay? So that's the negative with a single lever or a single finger on the brake lever. Another negative, like we talked about, was just not enough strength in one finger to pull that lever in hard enough to stop you in a quick stop. That's what we're talking about, is quick stops. One thing I heard is statistics say above 40 mile an hour, the fatality rate is much higher in a motorcycle accident versus below 40 mile an hour. Your chances and your odds are much better. So the point is with that is you may not get stopped to avoid this obstruction or whatever this may be. But if you can reduce your speed in half, get it below 40 mile an hour, get it down around 30 mile an hour, at least your odds are much better that it won't be a fatality. You may be injured, but it's not going to be a fatality. So, things are going to happen. You just have to be prepared when those things happen. And practicing these techniques is what helps that. And like I say, being able to really apply the brakes hard and pull that vehicle down, it's gonna reduce your stopping distance tremendously. Okay, so again, I think a good way to practice this is you squeeze the handlebar grip with all four fingers, okay, and then you go all four fingers on the brake lever and you pull it in. Then you release the brake, go back to the grip, and just do that. Just do that back and forth. I think that's a good technique to kind of learn that muscle memory and make that a habit of doing that. And I started doing that this last weekend. I've already noticed a difference in my riding and my stopping distance is much easier, much better. The truth is, I want to warn you, once you get to learning how to do that, the first few times you pull that brake lever in with all four fingers, be prepared because it's going to stop much faster. So there you go. That's a good technique I think to learn, is just squeeze that squeeze the throttle grip, go out with all four fingers, grab your brake lever, and then go back and just exercise that back and forth, just sitting still, not even running. Another thing on the rear brake, what I try to do is, and this takes some practice as well, is you want to apply the rear brake as you're coming up to a stop. You want to apply, of course, just like that, but as you come up to a stop, you want to leave your foot on the brake pedal and balance the motorcycle with your left foot. And that's not the easiest thing to do. When you've got a big motorcycle like this one, you've got a heavy load, you may have a passenger on there as well, so you're supporting a few 100 pounds. But if you practice that technique, you can get it, and you can do it. It's not that hard. And it just, when you can leave your rear brake, your foot on the brake pedal, and pull all the way up to the stop that way, and balance yourself with the left hand, with your left foot. It just makes the stopping much smoother, much easier, you know, and just in a slow stop. So try to practice those techniques. You know, practice using your rear brake pedal all the way up to the stop until you get stopped, and balance, and just hold your foot on there. Hold your vehicle stopped in place with your brake pedal, and with your rear brake pedal, and then balance with your left foot. And then on the front brake lever, just practice squeezing the handlebar grip. Go out, grab the brake lever, grab it with all 4 fingers and give it a good pull, and then go back to the throttle grip. And you'd be surprised if you haven't been doing that. If you've been doing a single finger brake like I have been doing, you're going to notice that you're going to stop much faster, and you know, could really make a difference in something that happens, you needing to stop very quickly. So these motorcycles will stop. It's just a matter of you knowing how to do it properly. So hopefully that helps you practice those techniques, and hopefully it'll work for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.